Good afternoon, everybody. This is Greg coming to you again from Road to Freedom, Nomorechains podcast. We're part of a nonprofit organization that helps returning citizens come home and become businessmen and women as they also work on the thinking the same and the healing of the trauma that caused them to commit crimes and stuff like that. If you would like to get in touch with us, you can always reach me or anybody on our staff at felonswithafuture@gmail.com or follow us on our website at felonswithafuture.org. Today, our guest that we have is Derek Beasley. He's a restored citizen who's come home and now he's a business owner. Not only is he a business owner, he's also a student. Not only a student, he's also a counselor. So, we like we always do on the show, we try to talk about and show people that, no matter how far you go down, we give you hope that, you can change your life and turn around too. So with no more from me, Derek, why don't you give everybody a little introduction for yourself?
All right, what's going on, everybody? First of all, man, I'm glad to be here, Greg. Whenever I'm asked to do something like this, man, it's just super crazy to me because it's like I just never thought I'd be in this position. My name's Derek. I don't really. I'm 39 years old, man. I spent most of my life in addiction, drugs, alcohol, whatever. You know what I mean? And I don't know, I never thought that I would make it out of life. You know what I'm saying? I just never had no dreams, never had no hope, never thought that I would do anything else, you know what I mean, except live and die by the drugs. So to be where I'm at today and to be right here on this screen and you're on that screen is just like it's just surreal, and it's super humble and humility and all them things, man. It's super crazy. So, real quick, I just want to say, like when you asked me, I kind of really didn't think about it too much. I said, yeah, and just kind of like, because I don't think I'm like that big of I don't see myself like that. I'm just like trying to blend in with what I think I should have been doing the whole time. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Well, see, that's the thing, Derek, that we've come to understand. And we're helping people with the Felons with a Future program that we're implementing is to work on that thinking pattern. You know what I'm saying? That I don't think that I belong. I'm not worthy of stuff like that. And to look at what your accomplishments have been since you've been home is enough to really, what I'm saying, to give somebody some hope. Why don't you tell some people about some of the things you've been doing since you've been home?
Oh man, where do you want me to start?
Like you can start with, just like I say, even what's that thing you got on your shirt right there? What's that all
about?
about?
Man, that's Run Riot. That's the brainchild of me. That's my baby. That's my clothing brand, trademarked, United States Patent and Trademark Office, and I own the rights to this word, to this term. Legally, I own this, and yeah, my name's on the paper, the certification, the whole 9 yards. You know what I mean? And like, people own houses and cars and stuff like that. Like, I own a car, but it's like I own some rights to a term, to some words. But if we're talking about that, man, for a minute, Run Riot really came from a recovery type. It was like it's a recovery saying, a self-will run riot. You know what I mean? And because I'm a real big believer in, if I don't check myself on a daily basis all the time, even if I don't want to, even when I know I should be, and when I'm doing it, like I'm a real big believer that I always got to check myself, man, because my ego and myself will run riot, and I can lose everything that I have real easily.
Okay. Speaking of, like, I heard you say that you own the patent for that. For some of the returning citizens and everything, won't you explain some of the process that you had to go through of setting up your brand and the that way they can know that one thing I understand, like this format that we're doing, this whole program. I remember it all started, the reentry program that I've started, that sponsors this podcast. It all started when I was in Pickaway Corrections, laying on that bunk and dreaming. I know that, I know many of us have spent many nights dreaming about
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
So the thing is, it's like, why don't you walk us through, what I'm saying, how did you take the dream to make it a fruition of that, now that now you have your own brand and you own the patent to that name. That way they might, because it might inspire somebody to say, hey, I can do the same thing.
Right. And it's really what you said. It was a thought that turned into a dream that I just kept really thinking about, man. I think there for a while, I did some time in prison. I came home. I was still clean, and I hit the ground running, and I did a whole 180 360 to turn my life around. And after a couple of years of being home and working and returning to somewhat some normalcy in my life, I started to like really pay attention to like what people were doing around me that was unique to them. And I was like, well, I want something unique to me. You know what I mean? Like a lot of my friends do tattoos or own tattoo shops. And like I started really paying attention to stuff like that. And like, you got people who own, cookie shops or this. And it was like, I want to, how can I do something for myself? And so, really, man, it didn't start off with a clothing brand.
Okay.
If I'm being honest, it started off with I was going to make patches for my friends and sell them to them. So it started off with an embroidery machine, actually, man. And I still have that embroidery machine to make patches and do embroidery work. And so I was like, well, if I got this machine where I can make patches for people that say stuff on them, why don't I just make something that's for me? It says something for me. And so then I really got into it, and I started branching out and like networking with some people. And I networked with the guy out in California who owns a brand. And I really like, dude was super cool. Like he like opened up to me and really was helpful and getting me going along the way. And he was really super encouraging, man. If I can give a shout out to him, Big Bob, man, that's the homie right there. And his brand is Road King Nation. His
Okay.
thing is Harley Davidson's. And that guy really got me going and kept me inspired, man. Because like I was like, this dude works 40 hours full-time job, but on the weekends, this guy's having fun and he's doing his brand stuff. So I sent him a message one day, and it just took off from there, man. And I think had I not talked to him the way that I did, it probably wouldn't have took off the way that it did. And it wasn't real hard to figure out the name that I wanted to trademark. And a lot of people get it and a lot of people don't, you know what I mean? And that's okay, so the process for that, it takes about a year to get a trademark, a patent for it. The biggest thing you got to do is you got to start doing some self-researching and making sure that your idea isn't already used somewhere else.
Right.
And if it is, don't be discouraged. Tweak it out a little bit, add another name to it. If like Run Riot was taken, I could have, put like Run Riot Inc. on it, or Run Riot that or this, just to twist it up a little bit. And so basically, I did that, man. And before I even had my patent submitted for my trademark, I was already vending my first show last year.
Okay.
So yeah, I've been to 3 shows last year, man, right off the bat. And it was just like it took off real fast. And it's crazy to be a guy coming from, a jail cell and halfway houses and just working at a job to like now I own a brand, you know what I mean?
You said something real important too, that like like reaching out for help. You didn't
Yeah.
understand something. So when you reached out to your friend,
Right.
like you said, Big Bob, see, that's one thing that we like to talk about. And one thing we like to do with our organization is try to help each other find the right connections. We were
Mhm.
always looking for the right connection when we
Right,
from the
right.
wrong side.
Absolutely.
Now, now
Absolutely.
we're looking for how to network as,
Yeah.
responsible, people in
Yeah.
society. So, like, that's a key segment that you were talking about, how you reached out and somebody, because see, a lot of times I just know this, and from talking to other people, and that's why we're working on the thinking with the people that we service. that would, the participants in our program. A lot of times people have good ideas, but they're scared to ask for help because we've been so used to being told no, or you ain't shit, you ain't never gonna get right. And so we won't even open our mouths. So, I'm glad you brought that up and you said that. That way you can help somebody maybe break down the stigma of thinking, I can't keep asking for help. Because, one thing, as men in America, we've always been told we supposed to be lace them up from our bootstraps and don't look for help, do it on our own. So, that's an important segment, man.
Yeah.
Let's talk about, what else are you doing? Because, I understand that you just became a counselor not too long ago. What was the process like of getting there? See, these are the important things that we need to talk about because people don't understand that as a restored citizens, man. We need to break down that stigma and let them know we're doing positive things in our community. So what was that process like, man?
Speaking of stigmas, man, it's like, they say 75 to 85% of people who come out of prison go back.
Right.
Man, look, when I got out, I was like, I'm not going to be a part of that statistic. I'm going to be a part of the other statistics that is even it's such a fraction of the 75, 85% that come out and do change their lives and not go back, man. Yeah, dude, I'll tell you. It wasn't until the last couple months when things have really started to happen that I've really started to see like what people mean and really being like it actively being a part of my life. When people say that, sometimes things are just going to happen for you regardless, like good things are going to happen. And, it started off, man, like I started off taking business in school, you know what I mean? And then I quickly was like, I don't need a business degree to own a business. I just need some money. You know what I mean? So I'm like, hey, if I'm being honest, I just need some money. You know what I mean? I'm like, so I started really thinking about, practicality and, what was really, why not? You know what I mean? I can do this and I already do it, every day in my daily life. I already practice what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? And so, early on, I switched over my degree to social work technologies and the counseling, chemical dependency counseling track. And the first couple of years I was in there, it was like kind of like, just doing the classes, passing. I made the dean's list a couple of times, made the honor society, and then I got my CDCA. Got my CDCA too, and then I started running into some complications with my background. And the record,
right,
the felonies that I have on my record. And, that bothered me. It deterred me a little bit, but it didn't discourage me to where like I just gave up. I kept at school, I kept grinding. And so I started my intern and man, like I'm a real deal counselor right now. And it's crazy. Like I got my first client this week and it's crazy. Like he's a super cool guy. And it's just so unrealistic, man, because I don't have a, big head like that. And so to like be a counselor, it's just like, I don't even know who I am right now.
But who's better? Who's better to help somebody except for a person who's been there?
Right.
And like from my background, and because we know each other on a personal level and everything.
Right.
So like I know from my background, a lot of the times people can relate because I can talk about the things that they're going through. Not just the criminal background, but also in the addiction background. And what I'm saying? The criminal thinking though is real big with even people who use drugs. Cause I don't know too many people who who didn't dabble into some criminal elements a little bit, even if they might not have been out stealing cars or whatever, but just going to cop is a criminal act. You know what I'm saying? So who better for him to hear and relate to but somebody like you who they can understand, like, okay, yeah, I've been there for you, and that's a good thing, man, that you're doing that, man. So, I mean, like, Derek, like, tell them what your plans are, and like, just kick it around and talk about, some of the things, the pitfalls that you've been, if you could reform the criminal justice system, what things do you think we should look at, because I know for me, like you were just talking about, you got your degree and you were choosing your career, but you were still hitting roadblocks with your stigma. And one big thing that I'm an advocate of, and that we're trying to work on, a couple other people in different organizations I'm working with, is reforming the criminal justice system. Because why should we still be treated like third-class citizens if we paid our price to society? You said we paid our debt, so why are we still being? So talk about some of the roadblocks you've encountered.
Yeah, man, I tell you, the biggest one is the background, and two, I think early on for a lot of people, they get stuck in the idea and the rut of, oh, I'm a felon, I can't do nothing. That's not true. You're going to run into some roadblocks for sure, and you're going to just have to find another way around that block. There's another road you can go down. You just got to keep going down far enough until you find it, So if we're talking about, statistics and roadblocks and stuff, and the biggest thing for me was not beating myself up and letting these things consume me. Right. Because it doesn't matter what's in my way. I can easily be discouraged myself. I could fall victim to the statistics and the stigmas and all this stuff. Next thing you know, I'm just exactly what they say I am anyways. Right. But my willingness to want to stay clean and to better my life and change my life far outweighs my stubbornness to stay stuck in the problem instead of trying to find a solution. And for me, the solution has been to stay clean no matter what, and go to school and to get as far away as possible from my background and who I used to be, and do everything I can in my power to flip everything. If we're talking about certifications, man, I got my license legally for the first time September 11th, 2014, legally, like 31 years old. Legally. Right. Okay. Insurance and all, I have a suicide prevention certification. I'm ServSafe certified throughout the United States, and food management, food and safety. I'm Ohio Board of Health certification certified, and that's for life. And the ServSafe is for every 5 years. Like I said, I've made the dean's list. I'm on the Honor Society, PTK Honor Society. I got my CDCA. I have my CDCA 2. I have my MPI number, my Medicaid number, all the things that make me a legal licensed counselor through the state of Ohio. Right. Yeah. If everything goes good and there's no hiccups, I'll graduate in May with an associate's degree. And to get from when I first got my license, that's when like everything started. I got that and I knocked that down. And ever since then, it's just like I've just been trying to knock things down and stack as much positive stuff in my life to try to combat the old shit I had going on in my life, the old person I am on paper. So I've been trying to build up the new person I am on paper, because it doesn't really, maybe I feel like I can say I'm this good person, but when it comes down to it, sometimes if I don't have the proof, the evidence, my old evidence can trump me, succeed me, everything that I'm talking about, you know what I mean? And so that's why it's been real important for me to try to do everything I can to have something on this side to show for. Right. And that's just been my personal journey throughout this whole thing. In 2017, Governor Kasich, when he was still in office, signed that Medicaid law, which kind of threw the entire system in Ohio to like a frenzy, because you had people that had been working in the field for so long who no longer were allowed to work in the field because of those laws. So I went to my very first interview as a CDCA counselor. Sat through the interview with the supervisor of a place up north here, out of Dayton. It was up north, up 75. Sat with him, and he was like, man, you seem like a great guy, a lot of energy, you seem real positive, ready to go. He's like, but according to these laws, I can't hire you. And he pulls out this stack of papers and kind of nicely slaps them on the desk there. And I was complete, and man, dude, I'm telling you, you talk about everything except like, F this, I'm done, and just quitting school and everything, giving up. I think, every thought crossed my mind, like, man, here I go, working my butt off. But, I didn't give up. I just held on, and I started to find, and I started to reach out. That's one thing that, I wasn't used to on the other side. And a lot of us aren't used to, is reaching out. Like, how can I get around this? Because I know people are doing this that have this record. And so I started reaching out, and I did find some loopholes and some ways to get around it, which weren't really loopholes or ways to get around it, but there was proper procedures you could follow to get around it. And basically it came down to, I needed somebody to write be like a character letter or something like that for me. So I just kind of fell back from it for a while. I was like, I'm just going to take this as a sign and just keep working on school, keep knocking out my degree. When the time's right, the time will come. And so, I was managing that kitchen for a long time. And I'm telling you, man, it was like when the time was right, I felt it. My other job, its time, it had exhausted. I was exhausted from that place. It was super, it was a pretty toxic place to work at. And it was a hard decision to leave that job, but I ended up leaving it. And it was one of the best things I've done since I've been clean, to help me further explore other ways, and new doors have opened up, and so much positivity has came into my life now. You know what I mean? And so yeah, those are some of the roadblocks. Is we do all this work out here, and it's like I have this expectation of like, this is what I'm going to do, and then I get it, and now this is what's going to happen, and like it was like, bam, nope, that ain't what's happening.
So how important was it for you, Derek, surround yourself with positive people coming home so that you didn't slip back into that old lifestyle and everything? Because, I know my first roadblock when I came home in 2010 was I went back around the same cats I was hanging with. And as a
Yeah.
result, I ended up getting another charge in 2011 where I just came home from doing 2 years, and now I was facing 5 years. And that's when it dawned on me, like, maybe I don't need to be still hanging with these cats. So how important was it for you, surrounding yourself with people who weren't doing the same things that you were doing prior to incarceration?
That was so important. Important's not a heavy enough word for it. That is one thing that I share with anybody who's coming up in recovery or clean or trying to change their lives. It's one thing I'm constantly sharing, as a counselor. You gotta have a good support group. You gotta be around some people who are not just doing good things, but are having positive, good conversations. You know what I mean? And because like it's easy to get caught up and draped off. You ever find yourself listening, like rolling in a car, and a song comes on, and yeah, really, it's that easy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so that's why it's real important to be around people who are doing positive things. And I like to say like-minded people. You know what I mean? If you want to be successful, hang around successful people and learn to emulate them and figure out how they're doing what they're doing, and let some of that rub off on you, which is not a bad thing, because that's a form of reaching out. It's
Right.
like, I don't know how, I didn't know how to run a side business clothing brand, so I reached out, and then I still don't know. I just do it, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I could be doing it better or not, you know what I mean? And it's a learning process, just like anything. We get better at it if we keep at it, and you can only get better at it if you keep at it.
Are you speaking of your clothing brand? Are you online with it, or how if somebody wanted to get a hold of some of your clothing, how would they go about doing it?
I have a website, runriotclothing.com, and then I have the Instagram, Run Riot Midwest. Yeah. Big Bob's is Road King Nation on Instagram and roadkingnation.com. Hey, man, look, that guy, he'll forever be a part of that story, man. He's super inspirational. Just like the way he was so freely and openly just talked to me right off the bat about it, man. Like that right there, you don't get that. You know what I mean? So if you got a Harley and or you got a Road King and you like Harley gear and stuff, they're out there from the West Coast. He's a Hispanic guy, you like that kind of stuff, man. That's where you go. I like that kind of stuff,
Well, we're gonna try to get him to buy a run riot, man. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you
Well, like I
plugging,
just
Big
said,
Bob.
yeah.
But this is Derek Beasley's interview right now, man.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? We want people to understand that right here in our hometown and across the nation, man, that no matter what, like I said in the introduction, man, this is really, man, the reason why I do this podcast and the YouTube channel is really so that people like us who've had a background, that they can have the inspiration, like, okay, these people been where I'm at, like I don't talk, like I don't talk about the negative stuff we done, man, because
Right.
we suffer enough about that anyway with our own thinking, and we don't need to keep having the public feeling that stigma, because you already know we live underneath the stigma, man. I found out about the stigma, man, when I decided to run for office earlier this year. So I know, I mean, we have to give everybody, so like just just a little, like if you were if somebody was to walk up to you right now, Derek, and ask them, how can I I'm living in the same neighborhood that I grew up, and I don't want to still do, what would be your advice to them on how to change, man?
What was the rest of that? They live in the same neighborhood and what?
In the same neighborhood where they were locked up, and because like we don't have one thing about this, we know this. When we come home, we don't really have a big choice of where we go back to,
Right.
because some of the roadblocks about now that I have this felony on me, certain people won't rent to me.
Right.
I can't go, because I know, where I met you at, that wasn't a good environment at the time.
Right.
But you know what I'm saying? But these are the choices we're given. So like if somebody has to return back to a crime-ridden environment, not just neighborhood, but anywhere like that, share with them a little bit about what you had to do to, to stay on the straight and narrow, man, as far as like all of that, dealing with all of that.
Yeah, it first started with me being done, being sick and tired, and just tired of going back to jail and all those consequences in that life. And the biggest thing and I was just sharing this today, got to get you a vision, and you got to really tune it in real fine, and just know that you don't know how you're going to get there, but you're going to get there the best way possible. I mean, like a positive way, not no criminal behavior. When I came home and we had met, I knew that I wasn't going to use drugs no more. I couldn't have told you where I was going to be in 5 years, which is pretty much where I'm at right now. But I knew I wasn't going to do drugs no more. If you'd asked me, do I think I have the things in my life today that, hell no. And hell no. And the biggest thing, get you a vision, man. Get you a vision, do what you got to do. And no matter how bad it sucks, grit your teeth, grind, and get out of that situation until you can get yourself into a better situation. That's a big part of the grind, the success, and the reward. You know what I mean? Even still today, I do a lot of things that I don't want to do. And that, I get up in the morning and sometimes it's like, oh, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I just want to fall into my own ways and be lazy for a day. But it's like, I got to do this stuff and it sucks doing it. I really don't want to do it, but I got to do it because it's what's best for me. Because what's best for me isn't doing what I want to do all the time. You know what I mean? You can get clean and you can change in any environment. I know that's hard to say, but I stayed clean through 2 years and 9 months of being locked up consecutively. And to me, that's probably the most harshest environment to stay clean in. Like, hey, let's be honest. Who the hell wants to do that? this guy, I did it. And I remember every second of it. I remember every emotion and feeling I had in there, every smell, sound, just the whole 9 yards. And I took all that in, and, I breathed it, I felt it. And after 3 years of it, I was done. I felt it long enough. And I think that's what really helped me. We feel enough pain with change.
Right.
If we feel enough negative anything, we'll do something to not be a part of that no more. And I felt enough of that shit for 3 years, man. I'm telling you, man, I'm almost 40 years old. Them young kids in there nowadays, in 20 years, man, look, dang, it's a whole different world in there nowadays.
And that's one of the things I admire about you, because you stayed clean. Like even after you came home,
Yeah.
I came, I came home, like I say, I stayed clean. The crazy part about I stayed clean and and all of that good stuff while I was locked up,
Yeah.
but still came home and fell right back. And that's something that I see a lot of the pattern with a lot of returning, what I'm saying, citizens, that we can live a structured life while we're in there.
Right.
But it's like
while we're structured.
Right. But when we get out here and we have this freedom, this so-called freedom, we don't know how to act. So that's one of the things that we like to work with, is working on the mindset. How do I go from this head of criminal thinking, this mind of every day has been used. I didn't think of nothing but how to hit a lick,
Right.
Now I got to live this square life. And
Right.
so that's one of the things I admire about you, Derek, because you did something I wasn't able to do. You came home and you stayed focused. I went back, I went back to the lifestyle, even after being clean and
Yeah, that's the thing right there. Is you went back to the lifestyle. You probably, I'm going to assume, because we already touched on it, you probably automatically went right back around the same people.
Right.
Who were still doing the same things, which meant their thoughts and the things that they were doing didn't change, and it all seeped off onto you. So
Right.
it's like,
well, like I can say it seeped off. I never really changed. I'm going to be honest about my story. Even while I was doing the programming and everything while I was in prison, I still knew I was going to come back home and go back to the lifestyle.
yeah.
Right. So that's why I say I understand now it was important to work on that mindset, because like the 12-week course that we offer and we run, even though we're teaching them how to become business owners, and I'm going once the classes start in January, I'm going to reach out to you so you can come in and talk to them live in person and talk on how to start a business and hopefully mentor one or two of them, because it's going to be important. That's where but the basis of the 12-week program that we're running is working on the mindset.
Right. Yeah.
We're teaching them how to, about tax codes and if they need to get patents, how to go about getting patents, how to write a business plan, how to, the same thing that, they learn in business school, but we'll be doing it in a shorter period and helping them get their business license and everything. Because, when they finish up the 12-week class with us, if they need a vendor's license, we're going to pay for that. And also that $99 to, register with the state. That's one thing.
Right.
So, and have mentors like yourself, mentor them, like, okay, call me anytime you have a question about business. So, man, like those are
the biggest thing too, man. If you're going to do like a clothing brand, or you're going to do something like some art or anything that's like custom, like a reflection of you or just like your thoughts or whatever it is, you can't let yourself get caught up in the, well, what if someone don't like this? What if they don't like this? And this, oh, what if that's not good enough? And this, because I kind of did it a little bit. And, you just got to remember, man, like, depending on what, let's say the clothing brand, depending on what the clothing brand is about and what it's geared towards, it doesn't really matter. As long as you're happy with it, because it's your clothing brand. Like my clothing brand is geared towards me and what I like. So like there for a while, I would get caught up in like, well, I like this shirt, the blank shirt, but what if they don't like the blank shirt? And then I start worrying about, well, what if this person, and you know, what if the girls and the women, and you know, and then it's like, hold on, now I'm complicated. Let me just get back to the basics. I just want to put some stuff on some shirts and sell them. And then the craziest part is people started buying them, and they still buy them. And you know, I'm not trying. You know, I just wanted to, you know, honestly, man, when I got involved in it, I just wanted to. It wasn't about the money. I never went into it thinking, oh, I'm gonna blow up or I'm gonna get rich. Like, man, you know, I sell my stuff as cheap as I can, you know, just to get, as I want everybody wearing it. It was more about, I just wanted to do something to spread me, more of me out there. Like, you know, and people, you know, when you get sent a picture of it from somebody that's like at the haunted house, you know, 45 minutes away, and they take a random picture of a random person wearing one of your shirts, it's like, that to me, that's so cool.
Yeah, I'm
You know?
sitting here looking at your website and I see some of the things that you offer, like the Adidas
Yeah.
stickers, the snapbacks, hats, you know, the glasses, you know,
Yep.
the t-shirts, you know, even for the women and everything like that.
Yep.
You know, so I see the Run Riot Ohio. So if they wanted to get specialized in their own state, or you know, Run Riot California or Run Riot Michigan, they could do that too.
Uh, I don't know. I haven't thought about that. You know, that's something that hasn't been brought up yet. You know, I would probably do some stuff unique to like certain states or stuff like that. Yeah. You know, if you look on there and you see Dayton Trash,
Right.
okay, that's a brand, Dayton Trash. That is currently in the process of being trademarked. I'm sitting in the process of that happening now. And basically, so Run Riot, it was like, you know, I want to do this from hopefully coast to coast. You know, hopefully, if it's up to me, you know, if I could do that. Then I was like, well, what could I do locally? Because, you know, I love my local people. And so I started doing Dayton Trash. And it's crazy. Like, people love it, dude. And they just keep buying the shirts. So I keep making them. You know, I'm just a guy with some ideas that puts them on shirts, man. You know,
And you know, that's what it all is. Like I said, this all started with an ideal, man. You know,
with an
really started
idea.
with a dream, you know,
Yeah.
laying on that rack. And
Yeah.
I said, I never wanted to be here again. And,
Yeah.
you know, it started with an ideal and turned into a dream. So, you know,
When I was a kid, man, look, when I was a kid, me and my good friend who grew up together, we were like, we were welfare, you know, illegitimate kids, you know, I mean, is what we referred to ourselves, you know, single, mom, multiple siblings, different dads, households, WIC, welfare, them kids, you know what I mean?
right.
You know, we always talked about one day, my buddy, he always talked about wanting to make $1 million. That's all he wanted to do. And I always talked about wanting to make a clothing brand called Broke Pimp Wear. Because we were broke ass kids, but we thought we were pimps. Real story, man. And, you know, here I am, like, you know, 25, 30 years later with a clothing brand, you know what I mean?
Well, when
So,
the first broke pimp wear shirt you make, I want to buy that one. You know,
hey, you know, look, I got an iPad full of ideas that, you know, if I had it my way, I would have like a brick and mortar store somewhere. But unfortunately, you know, you can't afford to do everything at once. You got to do it in doses.
in doses, and that's what I'm saying. You know, because like right now where we live at, it used to be a big manufacturing town. And
Yeah,
when I was talking with some of our political leaders the other day, I told them, I said, what's going to bring our economy back is going to be people like you, people like me, the entrepreneurs, you know, so the brick and mortar might come because, you know, they're starting to, and one thing that I'm working with them is trying to remove the red tape that returning offenders have to go through to get the right, the right funding. If you wanted to walk
Yeah.
into an institution, a lending institution, and get a loan and everything, like everybody else, a conventional loan without the high interest rates, it would be hard for us right now because that stigma is
Right.
over us. So we're working to try to bring down some of that where, it will be easier. So, like you say, you never know what might happen, man. We're just gonna keep on grinding and keep doing that.
I think the biggest issue with Ohio, and I, this has always been a topic of discussion for me, and it's always gets brought up, in some of my classes when it comes to like political and government and counties and stuff, is the minimum wage here is crap compared to, it's just crap, dude. So like I was writing actually this stuff yesterday. And, as of right now in 2020, the current minimum wage is $8.70 an hour in Ohio. Okay. A year ago, it was $8.55. Okay. So we've seen a 15-cent increase in a year. Right. So let's go all the way to the West. It was Seattle, I believe, that I looked up. Yeah, Seattle in 2020, it's $13.50 an hour. Now I know that it's higher cost of living and all that stuff and yada yada yada. I'm not trying to hear that.
Right.
So a year ago, it was $12 an hour. So not only is it like $5 more higher here, in a year they got $1.50 increase and we got 15 cents. Okay, so the issue is like that's something that I feel would help a lot of everybody, not only just the people, the economy, the morale. And it's like you can't live. The average person, the average single male or woman, if she makes $8.70 an hour times 40 hours a week times 52 weeks a year, that total is 18,096. The qualifying eligibility cash amount for assistance in Ohio is 16,971.
Now they make too much for assistance, but not enough
Make
to really
$2,000 more than assistance. Okay, so that's not. We're not even talking about health insurance.
Right.
We're not talking about taxes. So right off the top, you can't. That's if you're working 40 hours a week.
And that's one of the things that we bring up and we talk. Like I said, working with some other justice, criminal justice reform, organizations and stuff like that. That's one of the big things that we talk about. Not just like you said, not just for the restored citizen, but for citizens. Period. That might deter people turning to crime is if we have real living wages, because even though like one thing that, I always hear and they try to use as a cop out is that the cost of living in Dayton is low, but that's a cop out, what I'm saying? Because the cost, the quality of life is what we're looking at, not the cost of living, it's sad when you have 3 working adults in the house.
Right.
And the average income in there, and the income of all 3 of them is still like less than $36,000.
Yeah.
And you have to live like that, if you want a decent life in that, So that's one of the things that we are working on and trying to get, these, policies changed about, the working. Because now you talking about the average citizen. Now imagine being somebody who's like in our situation, being incarcerated, coming home, and has the stigma over us. It's going to be hard to find, like we were talking about this. I was on a webinar earlier today called After Incarceration that Sinclair Community College put on today. And they were talking about, we were talking about that, the 7-year block, the 7-year thing, how do we go about them removing the block on the applications? Because, we can have the best resume and the most experience, but because of our background, we're already being looked at like, no, we're going to pass over.
That's why when I shared earlier, I put so much work and effort into getting as much separation from who I was and who I am and who I want to continue to be, because I know at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, that shit can and does come back up, and it's always, well, you know. So and it's just, you know, I feel like I have some balance there now to balance out the scale, because it was like, here's the criminal, the old me, and then it was like, here the new me was, and now I'm still starting to feel like, you know, I would like it to be this way, but you know.
Hey man, we just keep working at it, and maybe
Yeah.
one day we'll, you know, because like one thing we're working at is breaking down the stigma. Derek, man, I really appreciate you taking this time, man. I know it took a lot of coordination on both of us to
Yeah,
get here,
it's cool.
man. And like, you know, we want to have you come back again, you know, sometime down the
Yeah.
road, check in and talk about, you know, other things, you know, and as this.
Hold on, you know, can we tell them real quick?
Go ahead.
You and I got a special date coming up about 5 months. I know
Yeah,
it's 5 months early, but I don't care, man.
yeah, you know,
We're gonna be there, man.
it's crazy, you know, like
Yeah,
10 years coming up.
10 years,
10 years, you
man.
know. Uh,
I can't
and,
even.
you know, like what you were talking about earlier, I could see me not using no more drugs. You know, that part was easy. But
Right.
10 years, you know, I'm going on 10 years of not being in the
Yeah,
lifestyle, not doing,
it's
you know
great.
what I'm saying? That's the thing that still is mine. But you know, to look at where we're at, here it is. Both of us sitting here on this channel, business owners. You're a counselor. I'm a community activist now.
Yeah.
You know, a guy who ran for fucking county commissioner, man.
Yeah,
You know, you know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah.
But that's
Hey, you know what? You had a vision and you
yeah.
went for it. And I remember I started seeing, I was like, hey, we all got a dream, right? It doesn't matter, man. You can do anything you want, man. Whether you do it or not, whether you get it successfully, you'll never know until you try, man.
And that's the
And that's
thing,
the
you gotta
thing.
try. And for people like us, what people don't realize is like I had somebody say, well, you know, you ran and you wasn't successful. They don't understand. We won. Even if I didn't win the
Yeah,
election, we won. We won because you know,
yeah,
just coming from where we've been at,
right.
and to give people hope, man. You know, to get 20% of the vote in the county, man. You know,
Yeah, that's what you got, 20%?
I got it was it was like
Yeah,
19. It was like 19.76, and you know, in school they tell you to round up.
that's a lot.
But
That's a
you know,
lot.
yeah, you know, so but you know, in closing, if you could tell anybody anything, man, what would you tell them, man? What would be your closing words to anybody?
Oh man, if you're on the path that, like we've been talking about, a change in your life, man, don't give up. Don't lose hope. Reach out when you're not sure or you have questions, and just don't give up. Don't give up on yourself. Even if it's discouraging. Like, man, I'm telling you, when I sat with that guy and he told me, set me through the whole interview too. I think that made it even worse. And then told me all these good things about me, and then was like, yeah, but I can't hire you. I was like, you know, you talk about a blow, man. I left there and I was like, so just out of my box that day, man. And I didn't give up, you know. And that'd be the one thing, man. Don't give up.
Right.
It'll get better. Just keep trying it. Even if, like, look, I don't take that as a failure, because
Right.
that was kind of out of my control. And I didn't even know about that law that John Kasich had passed until I sat down with them. And I didn't give up. I was pretty, you know, like I said, discouraged. I was like, damn, man, I've been doing all this work. I think, man, look, I think I might have cried to somebody about it. Like, I've been doing all this work. It's been so hard. You know what I mean? Like, wow, God. But I didn't give up, man. I just kept on rolling. You know what I mean? And just determined to not be a part of that other statistic.
That's right. And the website again is runriotclothing.com.
RunRiotClothing.com, Instagram at RunRiotMidwest. You can, yeah, man. Facebook's Run Riot. Dayton Trash on Instagram is Dayton Trash Ohio. You know, that Dayton Trash is for the communities, for every, you know. Look, man, I come from that kind of background, welfare, hand-me-downs. You know, we had the Frosted Flakes with the polar bear on it. The white polar bear. You've heard?
The
We didn't
generic
have
one.
Tony the Tiger.
Yeah, not the tiger, the polar bear. I know what
We
you're
had the
talking about.
polar bear on it. Damn
Yeah.
polar bear. You know, I was wondering why the kids down the street had the Tony the Tiger, the you know, whatever. They're great. We had a little roly-poly polar bear, but you know, I figured it out. You know, we got older. We were poor kids. That's why. You know.
Hey, so if somebody wanted to reach you personally, and you know, ask you some questions and everything about how to start their own line of business, what's your email address that they could reach you at?
Derek.Beasley81@gmail, or they can send me a message on any of the Run Riot pages, the Dayton Trash page, Facebook page, you know, any of them, man, you know. Yeah.
Hey, man,
Closed
again,
mouth don't get heard.
yeah, that's right. And, you know, and again, man, Derek, I want to thank you again, man, for taking this time, man, you know, sitting down with us. Like I said, Road to Freedom, No More Chains. That's the name of this podcast. And you can follow us. You know, we're going to be on Apple, on iTunes, podcast, Spotify. We're on 2 different podcasts. We're on Bean Pod, and we're also on Spot or whatever it's called. But you know, like I said, you'll be able to follow us on there. One thing we're trying to do is get people to understand that, you know, just because we made mistakes doesn't mean that we can't change. You know, Fellas with a Future, that was my vision. Like Run Riot was yours. People said change your name. I said it ain't for you guys. It's for people. You know, the name Felons is going to scare people. I said no, it's going to attract the people that we're trying to find.
Exactly.
Felons with a Future. And you can find us, you know, like I said, Derek, I appreciate you coming on. And like anybody who want to find us, you can find us, Felons with a Future, at felonswithafuture@gmail.com, or you can find our webpage, felonswithafuture.org. I'm going to let you just close it out. Tell the people, you know, one last positive thing before we end this interview.
Oh man, there's so much I can say. Don't give up, man. If you want the dream, man, grind. You just got to grind, man. Grind at your recovery, grind at staying clean, grind at being a better person, grind at your job, grind the hustle, grind. Like people think you can't grind and hustle on this side, man. Look. I took everything, all that energy and grinding and hustling over on that side to get one more, and I flipped it to this side, and I grind and I hustle. I'm telling you, some days I'm so exhausted, and it's like, man, I can't do it all. But then I wake up and I do it all again. And then there comes a few days where, you know, things happen. I'm like, that's what it was about right there. That's the hustle. Don't give up.
Don't forget to go check out his website, runriotclothing.com. All right,
man. Thanks, Greg, man.
Thank you for coming on. And we'll see you guys on our next podcast, and be looking for us on our YouTube channel coming up. All right. Thank you, guys.